This video I want to show a demonstration with a game, Cyberpunk, and with some real footage. So you see how good this HLG HDR looks, um, because you know it's difficult to appreciate it. The videos that I do with myself on camera, they are looking overexposed. The TV is looking overexposed, so it looks terrible. So I adjusted the settings, the HDR settings of my camera, and it should be working now better. So that's SDR. This is HLG HDR. Dynamic tone mapping off. You can see the difference. It is just night and day. Just night and day. And let me show you the SDR settings I have. So you see it's not something, that I'm trying to downplay it or anything. Look at that. This just sounds about right. 75, 85 contrast. This is the black level of my TV, 51, BT 1886. And the colors, it is 55 and auto detect with 150. So I'm not trying to downplay it or anything like that. These are just normal settings. That's the settings that are supposed to be accurate. But let's take a look at this. You tell me. So let me show you the settings. Once is on HDR, it is of course max out everything, dynamic tone mapping off, and I have color gamut native 50, 150. The difference is so huge that, it's not. I'm gonna show you Cyberpunk here in a minute. Just want to get maybe a more impressive shot. I don't know. It's easy to see. That's SDR. It's so huge. It's so huge. So let me show you the game. Let's go to Cyberpunk. Okay. Let's go to Cyberpunk and let's try to find a good shot to demonstrate. So let's take a look at this. Of course, I wish this was smaller on the screen. That's the SDR presentation. Let's take a look at it. It just looks so washed out in comparison, especially the colors. I don't mind the lower brightness. In no pop, I don't mind that as much as the color. No, I'm sorry, I messed it up. This is the one, HLG. So the pop is so huge. Like you see the reflection on the car. It's just incredible. Let's take a look at it again. Same shot. So let's find another place. Let's do the comparison. So this is ray tracing. All the graphics max out. 4K DLSS. The thing that's so impressive to me is the low luminance detail, the shadow detail, and the highlights. It's so impressive. So let's go to a low luminance place and see if that is visible on the recording. Of course, the frame rate I'm getting here is trash, but we're not talking about how good the game runs. This game with ray tracing is just doesn't work. It's unusable. Don't buy into the ray tracing yet. It's gonna get better. But we're talking about how good it looks on the TV. So, for example, let's compare this tunnel here. You see the light on the tunnel popping like crazy. Look at that. The tunnel is still visible. Like I can see all the shadow detail. There's no problem because the settings are good. But look at this. Not only is more visible, but here's what I feel. I feel that it is more visible because the light sources are popping like crazy. So it feels naturally more visible. Let's go out of here. Let's see if we can go to the outside at night, or I was driving with one hand. Let's see if we can go to the outside. It gets, so for example, a shot like this, which is looking dead, like it's looking like nothing's interesting. You do this, wow, the red on the car is popping. It is so huge, man, so huge. And this is not the way I would play. I would play with black frame insertion and with good performance, not with max out settings at 30 frames or 40 frames. I would not do that. But we are talking about picture quality, not the performance of the game. Let's compare this. And you can say, hey, but Cyberpunk has HDR, why would you use that? Well, use that and you tell me. Because the HDR from the game in comparison with this is atrocious. The thing is, I have to close the game, turn on the HDR from Windows, open it again, so I cannot do like, this easy comparison here. Or I can do that for you in the future if you want. Look at that, it's just huge. And again, I'm not saying it's better because it's brighter. It's better because it's more impactful, So let me get this out of the way, and let me try to find a more interesting shot. I don't want to do the video too long because this is gonna be huge. I'm recording at 4K HDR, so that video is gonna be like 4 or 5 gigabytes, and it's gonna take forever to upload. There's nothing interesting here on this shot. Let's go. It just feels incredible. I mean, it looks incredible. It looks incredible. Let's get out of the car for a moment. And when you look at something like this, for example, super bright, and I can see all the shadow detail on the recording. When I get far away, it gets overexposed, so you no longer see that detail. Like that map, you no longer see it if I am far away. But I can see that detail even when I go back. So I go back and I can still see that detail perfectly. Not on the recording. But if we go to SDR, it's just dead. Like it's not interesting. Like that's not something. It's not no pop at all. I do this, no pop. Man, it's just not even close. It's not even close. Look at that. Not even close. Look at that image. So much more alive. It's just beautiful. Especially that white color gamut on native. Look at that red, for example. Let's take a look at that. The red on the car. Also, look at that. All this scratch detail popping like in a bright, sharp way is beautiful. Let's change it to the SDR with the accurate colors. Then this car is like, strawberry instead of, the red. That's like, it's not strawberries. It's like, I don't know. It's no longer red. It's not Ferrari red for sure. This looks like Ferrari red. Like, beautiful Ferrari red. Look at this. It's like, let's take a look at this. is huge, man. It's not even close. So yeah, I'm just gonna find, before ending the video, just find a better spot. I'm gonna open Batman. I'll do the video as long as I can do it. And I'll figure out later how can we download that. How can we upload the video? So yeah, nothing interesting. Everything looks perfect. Like I don't find anything that's going to stand out. I especially like how it looks during the day, because the colors look more vibrant. Yeah, it's huge difference. Look at that. It's just beautiful. Especially this yellow here, this color yellow here on the this looks, I don't like it. I'm not gonna say this is inaccurate or anything like that. It's just not that this yellow is, I just don't like it. I do this and wow, it's just so much better. So yeah, let's take a look at Batman, because I'm so impressed with Batman. I mean, that game just looks absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite games in terms of the graphics. It's just beautiful, and also the music of the game is incredible. So let's take a look at Batman's face on the main menu. So the cell phone is telling me it's too hot, so the recording is going to stop at any time. Let's see if I can show you at least Batman's face on the main menu. See if you can see that on the video. No, probably not. I can see it. And that's like, for me, that's like the ultimate Black Crush test. I can see Batman's face, so that's just, you know, perfect. That means to me perfect shadow detail. Let's take a look at the game. And let's do some back. Let's go to an interesting place. I don't know, for example, here. You see the sun being reflected. Yeah, so there's light sources here. Yeah, so let's turn it off. I don't know if that's the sun or if it's these lights here. I don't know what it is, but it looks amazing. So let's turn it off. 11311. Okay. So huge, man. Such a huge difference. It's like, I mean, the video doesn't need to have a lot of quality. It's so huge. Difference is so impressive. Difference is so huge that it doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at, if I find something interesting to do a back and forth comparison, I would. Let's do a back and forth here. Look at that. You see that? It's like, holy shit. Yeah, it's amazing. So let's open GTA 5, because that's the thing. Here's the thing. You are trying every single game you open. You don't want to be like having to watch a YouTube video how to set up the HDR settings. If the game has HDR settings, which GTA 5 on PC doesn't, and Batman Arkham Knight doesn't have HDR settings. But let's say they do. You don't want to have to watch a tutorial on every single game you play, watch a video and see how to set up the HDR. So this option with HLG is working out of like no settings. That's the setting. You don't need to adjust any sliders. It just works. It works perfect. So on every single game you go to the brightness calibration and just leave that on the default position. That's it. Let's do on this menu here, see if we can do yeah, so the menu is on the left side, so we cannot compare very well. It's so big. Let's see on the game. This game doesn't load very fast. Okay, so for example, here inside the house, man, it's so big. And it's not only big. For example, you see that light here in the corner? On the video it might look overexposed, but if I get close, you see all that detail. I go back and I still see the same thing. On the recording it might be overexposed, but I see the same thing. The pop is huge. Let's go to the pool. Let's go to the pool. Let's do some comparison here. Okay. Look at this. That sun is just popping so hard. Look at here. So much better, man. And it's not bright everywhere. Let's take a look at it. It's not bright everywhere. It only looks bright where the sun is. Like here, it's not bright at all. It's normal. It feels like a normal luminance. But when you look at the sky, it's impressive. At the sun, it's impressive. So let's take a look, for example, let's take a look at this green here. Because we talk a lot about color accuracy. I mean, I don't. I mean, many people talk about color accuracy. Take a look at that, at this green here. And what I'm comparing here is not really HLG. What I'm comparing is the supposedly accurate settings on auto versus the native that I like, that is not accurate. You tell me what looks more realistic to you. What looks better? Yeah, but it's not worth it to keep doing comparison. It's not even close. Not even close. And the thing is, that sun is just popping so hard, but you don't have anything is blown out. You have perfect shadow detail. And I mean, if you go, for example, let's go to the calibration screen. Let's go to the calibration screen, display, brightness. For example, let's take a look at that grayscale. It's perfection. Like the way, for example, the Rockstar logo is perfectly visible. Okay, perfectly visible. If I change that 113 for example, if I change that to auto, the Rockstar logo is visible. The grayscale is okay. But this is just better, man, because I am getting a lot more pop on the bright segments, and it's just perfect gradient. I mean, it just, for example, let's take a look at those windows that are being illuminated by the sun on the building. And you know, it's not easy to change it back and forth. I mean, it's not difficult, but it takes a lot. Well, to be honest, the windows are still feeling like the sun is illuminating them. It's still feeling like that. I thought this setting was gonna be like, wow, but of course it does pop a lot more. It does pop a lot more. Let me turn off the music on the game because and again, this is not bright. For example, right now here, this is not bright. It feels like perfect luminance. It's not. This is not bright everywhere. But when you go to direct sunlight, it's gonna feel bright. Boom! That sun is. I measured that sun. It was over 800 nits on my inaccurate measurements with my cell phone app. So it is bright. It doesn't matter if it's 800 or 7 or it is bright. I can see it with my eyes. Yeah, it's awesome. Definitely try that. I don't know how good this HDR implementation of GTA, how good it is on PS5, but here on PC we only have SDR, and you can either use the auto HDR from Windows, which is horrendous. I tried that and I just turn it off immediately. It's horrendous. Look at that sun. It's perfectly visible. It is popping like crazy and I can see the clouds. No issue. No issue. And of course, if I turn this back to SDR, let's see. If I turn this to HDR, let's see if I see more detail. No, it's the same detail. It just pops a lot more. I mean, on SDR it doesn't look like there's a sun at all. Like everything is so dark in comparison. Yeah, it's just bad. I remember on SDR on this game I was